Okay, so I picked a tree. I don't know if you can see it there in the pink pot. Quite a bit smaller than the other tree, but they say when you plant a tree, if you plant a tree that is quite large, it takes so much time because there's been so much damage under the roots that it actually is harder on the tree. And you plant a smaller tree, they'll often be the same size in a few years anyways, just because there's less damage to the roots. So what I picked, I'll just show you here, a Romeo Cherry. So I believe this cherry and some others that were developed in a series at the University of Saskatchewan. So that's in the same province where I'm at. So they are very hardy. They're meant to grow here. They were developed a few years ago, I think, like in the last 5 years, I believe. I could be wrong on that one, but I've just been hearing about them in the last year or so. And you can see there it grows 8 feet by 6 feet, zone 2 tolerance. And these are supposed to be good for fresh eating, so I'm thinking they're a sweet cherry. And I think it'll be a nice size for this area. So that's what I'm going to put in. So when you dig your hole, you should be about twice as wide as the pot and about the same depth as where the tree is in the pot right now. So I have just enough room here between my edging here and I don't know if you can even tell, there's a little brick line that I laid a few years ago there by the grass. So I should have just enough room to get that in there. So I'm going to get cracking on that. So there, I've got it, the hole dug. It's about level now with the top of the soil in the pot. I find a little bit always comes off the bottom when I scratch at the roots a little bit, so I think that'll be perfect. You can see I have a sprinkler line there, so I actually dug this out by hand just to make sure I didn't puncture that. I knew it was there, but it's in a good spot, so the tree should be pretty centered in that area there. So I'm happy with that. So I'm actually going to put a couple handfuls of bone meal in the bottom, and I'm going to put a little bit of composted steer manure to mix back in with the soil. But I want to show you, a lot of people will see when they have heavy clay soil like this, and they're like, should I dig that all out and put all new soil in? You know, they want to put in potting soil or compost or something, you know, because it just seems horrible to put your tree in something like this, right? But what they found is if you take all this soil that's your native soil out of the hole and replace it with something that's easier for the roots just treat the hole like a nursery can or pot, and they'll just keep swirling around in that the easy soil, and they won't really make their way out into this stiffer soil that's outside the hole you dug and refilled. So it's okay to put a little bit of an amendment and loosen up a little bit, but you really don't want to do too much, or you can wind up with your tree being root bound in the ground. So it's just something to keep in mind. So like I said, I'm just going to throw a couple handfuls of bone meal in there, and I'll mix like a little bit of cow manure. Like I have a 12.5 kg bag here, and I'll probably put about half of it and mix it in. I have 2 big buckets here, so I'll mix it in with some of this soil, and that's what I'll use to backfill around the tree. So once I get the bone meal in and I get the tree out of the can, I'm just going to turn the tree. I think I have it now how I want it. I've stood back and looked, so I'll just have one more look once I set it in the hole without the pot, and just make sure it's how I want it. And I'll start backfilling. Once I have it about half full of soil around the root ball, I'm going to put a bunch of water in there, let it settle down, make sure all the air holes around the roots are filled in, there's no air gaps, and then I'll finish filling it in again and watering it in real well again. So I'll show you when I get that done. One more thing to note when you're planting a tree or shrub is it's a good idea to just give just a gentle scratch to the root ball. You're not looking to like really totally disentangle it or anything, and give the bottom a little scratch. Just loosen things up a little bit, and that'll help the roots to come out of the memory that they formed in the pot and move out into the hole better. So there, I think that turned out pretty good. Got the new pathway in, the new tree in, rocks are all back in place, pots are mostly lined up there pretty nice. With this tree here, you can see I also have a stake on it. Now it came with a stake jammed right up against the trunk and tied really tight. That's not good for trees, it hurts the bark. So I just took that stake and moved it out, I don't know, about a foot or so from the tree, and I just have it loosely tied. I don't know if you can see in there, just with a Velcro tie. It's real loose, and you can see there's a cross in it, so they're not going to rub together. Let's to focus on the flowers, but so that'll just help to give the tree a little bit of support. This tends to be a very windy month for us here, so give it a little bit of support without being a complete crutch for the tree, so the tree can grow strong roots and a strong trunk and support itself. I'm going to leave that little tube on there for now, but I'll remove it in a while. It depends how long it's down looking at it, but I think because these trees are in the nurseries where this was, it was in kind of a sheltered, shaded spot, so even though it's a full sun tree, it wasn't getting a lot of sun on it, so I just want to make sure that the bark has a little bit of protection while it's settling in here. I don't know if that's actually necessary or not, but that's what I'm going to do. And you can see I put the rocks around the base, but I don't have them right up to the trunk because I want to leave room, A, for me to get some water in there good, and B, so that as the tree grows, the rocks aren't impeding anything. If you have them right up against the trunk, that's going to make it hard for that trunk to grow. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how I made a few changes here to this area. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that subscribe button if you want to keep seeing more of my videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.